Hey boys, it's the Beer League Beauties podcast. We got Egan Beveridge on here. Today is the 25th episode, sponsored by Gladiator Energy. We got our newest flavor here, tropical. Egan, if you haven't had one, go get some. Maybe we'll ship some out to you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure having you on here, man.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Yeah, all roads to hockey leads to the beer league, so we'll be there one day.
Yeah, no complaints about that. So
Hopefully, you get to the NHL first, though.
yeah, let's hope so.
Yep. So Egan, you're a New Hampshire guy, so you know all the kids like Cy and Cole, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I'll skate with like those the UNH guys like during the summer, just like the mess around skate. So I've known Cy and Cole and all of them since I was pretty young. So yeah, I know them pretty good.
Oh, so you did those skates, the UNH skates here and there?
Yeah, I would like go like Cy or like Max would like text me and I would show up every once in a while just to go. I mean, it was a ton of fun. So
Yeah, it was cool to skate with those guys. I went out like once or twice.
yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of USHL guys, all the UNH guys too.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
And so you're really good buddies with Max.
Yeah, me and Max, we've known each other since like fifth grade, fourth grade. We played baseball together growing up, and we played on Spartans together for a little bit, and
Nice.
yeah, and so we've been tight since we met. So
Yeah, I was switching around between the Valley Junior Warriors and the Seacoast Spartans for a little bit
yeah,
way back then.
junior our rivals. So
What'd you say?
big junior warriors were our rivals when we were 8 years old. So
Oh yeah, when you're 8 years old. Yeah.
yeah,
Nice. So let's get into it. So you're definitely East Coast hockey player, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of people can say that.
yeah.
So let's go right into Chicago Mission. So how was that year? And coming from Mount St. Charles, how'd you make that jump? Because they're such a great team. And how'd you get out?
So I mean, it's a great program. It's a great organization. But I think for me, like personally, I wasn't getting what I needed developmental wise. Um, so Mission was kind of always in like the back of my head to like go there or whatever. It always kind of seemed pretty far away from home. But then after doing my freshman year at Mount, I mean, being away from home, it's kind of all the same thing no matter where you are. Um, so I have a good buddy out there, Cole McKinney. Me and him have been friends ever since we were in sixth grade. We met at a summer tournament and we've been best friends since then. And his family kind of offered to take me in if I ever wanted to go to the Mission. And, that opportunity kind of arose and we kind of took it. So,
And that hockey's nasty out there. So was there a big jump from Mount to the Mission?
I mean, Mount, we played Mission during the year. We kind of all played like the same teams throughout the year. We'd all travel around a lot. So there wasn't any of a jump because it was the same league. It was just a different team. So nothing too crazy.
And so you got guys committing to colleges and stuff a lot out of that, like out of those younger leagues. Were you ever playing against guys like that you knew that they were committed?
Because last year none of us could commit and it was 15-0. But I played against, I don't even know how many number D1 commits. Like Cole, kid I lived with, he committed to Michigan. I think we had 5 kids on our admission team last year that committed all D1, like 2 to Michigan, 1 to Penn State, 1 to Duluth. Like there's countless. I mean, I know a bunch of people that are going D1 right now, and it's pretty cool to know. Like I know all these guys are committed and stuff. They're gonna go play D1 in a couple of years. So
Yeah, that's unreal. That's the dream, man. All right, so we got this kid. I don't know his name, his first name, but I know his last name, Sakura. Was he on?
Jaden,
Yeah,
yeah, I know him.
was he on your team?
No, he's the year older than me. He's an '06. So he was on the 15th team when I was a 14 at Mount. So I knew of him. We talked a little bit, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Just kind of knowing of each.
Nice. Yeah, his brother's on my hockey team. I got to skate with him a couple times.
Nice.
I think he's trying to go D1. Try to find somewhere. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. So you had a good year there. You scored 6 goals, 10 assists.
That was in our HBHL league. So we played in those we played in those games like I don't know, like once a month. So that
Mm,
was like the league we're supposed to be in, but like it's like a really bad league. It's not great. Um, but we played like everyone in the country. Like we would travel. We'd be in Michigan a lot playing against like Caesars and all of those guys. We played a bunch of Canadian teams, and I think we played Caesars probably like 10 times last year, and we were one and they were two, so it's always a battle. But yeah, I mean, we played in the HBHL, and I played all right. But last year was a ton of fun. But then October I got hurt, and I was out for 3 months. I tore two tendons in my ankle, so I was out for a bit, and then coming back, it was kind of tough. Not like I just wasn't like mentally prepared for it. You know what I mean? Um, so I didn't have the greatest finish to the year, but the start of the year it was a ton of fun. I mean, the team was great, and Chicago's just a really fun place to be.
yeah.
So
Were you like right in the city? Is that right in there?
so I went to school into this like in the city, but I lived in like the suburbs of Chicago. So we were like 45 minutes away from the city, so it wasn't too bad. But like our practice rink it was like dead like hard like downtown. Like it's
Yeah.
where the Blackhawks practice and everything. So
Sweet. Um, yeah, Bedardsy.
yeah, he's
Calling it up. Are you the same age as him?
no, he's 2 years older than me.
2 years older. All right. He'll be
Yeah.
there one day. I hope I hope you light him up. What about that release that he has? What'd you say?
I just want to play against him. It'd be so sick to play against him.
It would be.
So
He'll run
nasty.
something.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I don't know if you can do that. He's just too. Um.
End up with
So
like ESPN. So
yeah. Oh yeah. What do you think about that video of his shot, that release? It's like so he like drags the puck and his hands are like 10 feet off his body.
yeah,
Are you
I've watched that video. I don't even know how many times. Like I like in practice, I'll try to like replicate that because it's
yeah,
just like I want his release so bad because his release is just like second to none. It's so cool. So I've watched that. I've watched so many of his like just shooting videos, like just try to like shoot like him or somewhat like him, but his release is just
yeah. Oops. Someone's calling. Yeah, I've been trying to do that shot and I'm like, dude, I'm at the last 2 years of my, game. Why try to like change something up? Because like I'm trying to like release it and then I like start muffing up the puck. Like I won't even get contact with the puck. It's like I'm trying to
it's so it will start so far up and it pulls back and like down. It's just it's bizarre.
get.
But
My goalie made a good point. So I was trying to work on it and I couldn't get it down until he told me try to shoot at your left skate. He's like, try to shoot at your foot almost and have your hands
yeah,
off the body. And that helped a little bit. So
I like whenever I try to like put like my like top hand down, I always just go high and wide. Like
yeah.
I can never like make it like accurate, which is whatever.
Yeah, we'll just go right to the boards. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Magnet for the boards. But so what are the things that you do like on ice, like just by yourself? How are you getting better?
Um, I mean, in the summertime, I skate with Dan Holland. I'm not sure if you know who that is. Um, but I've been skating with him for since like sixth grade. He's kind of like the shot master, I guess. He kind of like taught me how to shoot. And then I go to Dina Taylor also in the summers, and I guess she's the go to person for skating, and she's a little bit crazy, but she's the best. I mean, she does everything right, and I go to her for skating, and then Dan for shot, and then I kind of just shoot in my basement, and that's
Yeah,
about it. I mean,
it's the hours in the basement, I'll tell you that. That's
exactly.
it really is just like the repetition.
Yeah, I mean, in quarantine, I feel like that's all I was doing was just shooting pucks all day. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's that repetition because then it turns into muscle mind connection.
yeah, exactly.
You're doing it without even thinking. Um,
Yeah,
so Kurt Mallett?
I know, Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I used to go to his morning practices and stuff, and
Yeah,
that's where I would get my work in.
yeah. I love Curry. He's a beauty.
Yeah, he had that morning ice back when I was younger, and man, I'll tell you, that's where my game improved.
Yeah.
Early mornings. You're an early morning guy.
Yeah, I am. But I mean, I tend to stay up a little bit too late, but I'm up pretty early.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, like right now when I'm in St. John, I get up at like 6 every day and go to the gym, but I go
yeah.
to bed a little too late.
So
But
so you got that on ice training. So what else are you doing? Are you doing off ice training? Do you have a diet?
yeah, so I go to Maxway Performance. It's in Greenland, and I work out with PJ Strabel. It's uh it's a nice gym. It's kind of like under the radar, but it's a great gym. I love going there. Like I look forward to going to that gym like every single day. I love it there. And even when I'm not there, me and PJ are still texting each other about like certain things, and all that. And then I don't really have too much of a diet, but there's certain like things I'll eat, and like I have to eat a certain amount. Like during the summer, I was eating 5,000 calories a day because I was trying to gain weight. Um, but I mean, I don't really have too much of a diet. I kind of just know what I should eat and what I shouldn't be. Um, in the season, it's a little bit more different, but in the summer, it's kind of more do what you want because you'll burn it off eventually. But in season, it's different for sure.
Yeah. All right. So here's another question that comes with uh, the game of hockey. So the sacrifice that you have to give. Is there a big sacrifice? Like there's times when you would want to hang out with friends or go do something. What are you doing in that scenario?
I mean, I've already sacrificed a ton. I mean, I've been living away from home since I was 14 years old. And you kind of sacrifice, that like regular high school kid life, going to like the football games on the Friday nights. Like I never got to do any of that. But I don't really see it as too much of a sacrifice. Like playing hockey is what I want to do, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to like do that. So it's not too much of a sacrifice for me. It's just all right, like whatever. I guess I missed out on that. So
Yeah. And you're really not missing out on much. What
yeah,
you got to go watch the extra Blue Hawks lose to Winnacunnet.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you don't want to see that.
No,
Wait, so you would go to Exeter, right? Or where would
yeah,
you?
I'd be an Exeter kid. Like all my friends back home they all go to Exeter, and they're all on, like the football team and stuff, and
Nice.
they all they're like the man for playing like varsity football. It's so funny to see,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. We won that. We won a state championship a couple of years ago with Winnacunnet. That was cool.
the rivals,
Yep, rival.
Exeter.
Pretty cool. All right, so let's get into the St. John Sea Dogs here. Sidney Crosby played there, right? Am I tripping?
He did. It was Huberto,
Yep. All right.
And Shabbat.
Same thing. Um, so all right, let me formulate a question here. Hockey players aren't smart. Um, so coming out of Chicago Mission, so when you go into the queue, you got to sign those papers and stuff. So did you have that talk where you're like, all right, we're gonna let go of this Division One dream and we're gonna go the pro route, like we're gonna go all in. How was that?
Yeah. So yeah, I was drafted by Madison to the U show, and I don't know. I was talking to my agent and talked to my dad about it. Like I talked to them about it for like every day for a couple weeks, and couldn't really get a decision because I was kind of scared to go to the queue. You know what I mean? Because it's so unheard of for an American kid to do that. And obviously I wanted to go play D1 hockey and play in the U show and do all that. So there's definitely a lot of long conversations, but then just talking to my agent, watching some of the Q games and all that, and it kind of just seemed like my style of play fit better into the Q. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, if I want to play pro hockey, like might as well get sacrificed and everything, right? So I sacrificed my NCAA eligibility to play, but like I'm still going to college. I'm still doing all this stuff. I'm just not playing hockey in college.
Mhm.
So I mean, like signing those papers, it was like, yeah, like all right, whatever. Like this is what I want to do. So like it wasn't too big of a deal for me. Um, but the first thought of it was definitely pretty nerve wracking.
Yeah, it is. Um, you just got to work extra hard because, it's right into the pro hockey, right in there.
That's for,
Um,
yeah.
which don't be scared of it because you're a good enough hockey player to get there. Um, so what is your style? So you said that the Q fit your style. What's the difference between the USHL and the Q? Like your style of play?
So USHL is kind of more dump and chase kind of games, not as much like systematic, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
Um, ever since our first day training camp, like the Sea Dogs have been hammering in like our systems and all this. So it's just system plays, and then in the the ozone, like you like the forwards can do whatever you really want. You know what I mean? Like you can be as creative as you want. Like I've talked to my coaches about it a ton. Like they're like in our D zone, like we want you to follow these our like systems, but like once as soon as you cross that blue line and get into our ozone, like do whatever you want. We want you to be creative. We want to show your skills. So I think that was kind of just like a big thing for me. Like, cause like I never really want to be like held back and felt like a robot playing. And I guess I thought that I would have felt like that playing in the USHL. But not saying USHL is a bad league at all. I mean, they have numerous draft picks and they all go D1. So, but I think for me, I just wanted to be super creative because I think that would help me show my skill better.
Mhm. Yeah, making those moves,
Yeah.
the crazier moves, it translates to games and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to hear. That's something that I'd never really thought of, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and so you were like you sat down with your agent and stuff and your dad and like you guys talked about that.
It was me, my agent, my mom and dad, and they were all kind of like pushing the cue on me, and I was just kind of hesitant to because like I've always heard such bad things, like oh like you don't go to college and all that, but then kind of like talking to them like deeper about it, like I learned so many different things, and I talked to the GM and the president of the Sea Dogs and all that, and they explained all these certain things to me, and it just kind of seemed right. It seemed like a good fit for me.
Yeah. Um, I know there is a lot of guys that they'll make that decision and then they'll get bumped down to like the minor leagues and shit, and it's just a cycle and a vortex, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you definitely got that out of the way. So like your first game, you got a goal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sick. All right, so tell me, you know, what you did when you got into the rink until it was game time. How did you feel? Any things that they had to put you through? Like, what was your warm up routine? How'd you do it?
I mean, so we've had like a bunch of preseason games, so you kind of get a feel of like the team's like warm up vibe or whatever you want to say.
Mhm.
But obviously, I have my own like personal superstitions and all these different things. So our first game was it was in Bathurst, which is like a 4 hour bus ride. So
Yeah.
it's not bad, but Bathurst is kind of like the middle of nowhere. Um, so we get to Bathurst or whatever, and I'm a rookie, so we have to help get everything off the bus and do all that, like do all of our rookie stuff. But then after that, it's kind of just taping my sticks on the bench and then doing warm ups and then doing warm up with the team and then kind of doing my own thing after warm ups. And then I'll go on the bench and I'll kind of just stare at the ice. It's just kind of weird, but like I'll just like stare at the ice and I guess kind of focus in. And then we'll hit the ice for warm ups and I do the same thing like every warm up with my stick handling pattern. I always flip a puck to a fan. Like it's kind of the same thing every game.
Hey,
But then
what do
as soon
you?
as
Sorry to cut you off, but
no,
what do
you're good.
you do for your routine, your stick handling routine?
So I'll go whatever side our bench is on. I'll put my back on the wall, like back like on the glass, like right next to it. And then I'll push myself off, and then I'll do like an around the world thing on my stick with the puck, and then I'll go two times off my skate on my forehand, and then two times off my skate on my backhand, and then I'll start like Zoroing and shit, and then I'll flip a puck up and try like I'll flip it as high as I can and try to catch it, and I usually don't. And then after that, I'll like see a random like little kid or something, I'll point at him on the glass and I'll throw the puck over, and then I'll get off. So it's the same thing every game, but it's kind of got to stick to it, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, so what else? Do you have any like weird superstitions?
Yeah, actually, we have one of my good buddies on the team. He's hurt. And I didn't know he was in the stands, but like before every game, like I'll go on the bench. I'll like I'll like look up and down, like I'll look from like goal line to top of the circles to the blue line to the red line, like all the way down. I'll do it like 3 times. And like every time I do it, I'll blink 3 times. Like my favorite number is like number 3, I guess. I don't even know where it came from, but I'll like blink 3 times, like really hard. And then I'll have a Gatorade bottle and like just like a water bottle. And I'll take like 3 squirts out of each. And I'll do the same thing over and over again. And I'll do it 3 times. And then, yeah, it's weird. I don't know where it came from, but it's kind of there to stay. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
That's awesome. And
yeah.
is there any like weirdos on the team like that have the craziest routines?
Yeah, there's this kid, Eric Matejko. He's from Latvia. And he does the same thing every game too. But like we'll all like be sitting on the bench like before the game, just like kind of like looking out, like looking into the crowd or whatever. And he'll like come like running up from like out of the tunnel. He'll like stop like really hard, like stop like on the bench, and he'll like bang the bench, and then he'll grab the waters and start like squirting it all over like the ice and stuff. And then he'll like look down and he'll like jump up and like almost touch the ice, and then he'll fall back and sprint out. It's like it's pretty funny to watch, but it's definitely the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's crazy, what people do and stuff.
Yeah,
Like for
but
me, I always tie my left skate, put everything on my like left shin pad, tie my left skate, left glove, left elbow pad, all that. It's so weird.
like I don't even know where this stuff like comes from, but it kind of just happens, and it's like I'll play good when it happens. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's there to stay.
Yeah.
So
Um, yeah, it's weird for me. I try not to be like too crazy with it, but the left side skate always has stayed. Always.
I mean, I'm pretty crazy about I do the same thing every game day, so it's it's a little bit crazy, but
Yeah. And has it changed since you were, younger? Um,
I mean, like yeah, obviously it's gotten a little bit more. But like ever since I like was playing like for like the Islanders or whatever, like I would be wearing like a collared shirt to the game and like khakis when we didn't need to. You could wear kind of whatever, but like I always kind of wanted to like always feel like older than I was and like playing like a bigger game than I really was. So I think it's kind of just me like just wanting to like be more and be like higher up. You know what I mean? Like I've always I've done extra like before games to make myself like feel like I'm playing in a bigger game than I really am.
yeah.
But it's definitely changed a bunch as I've gotten older.
Yeah, that's a key point that someone told me, when you're going to like the hockey night in Boston and all like the Chowder Cup, the pre-draft, like you'll see kids rolling up in like sweatpants and sweatshirts looking like a bum. I'm like,
Yeah,
you're trying to get scouted, you're trying to go somewhere, dress up in a nice collared shirt, and that's a huge factor to the
yeah,
game getting
for
scouted.
sure.
All right, so how's the facility look like? What do you guys have?
I mean, we have one of the nicer facilities in the queue for sure. I mean, we get ice time whenever we really want it. Like we have a gym like built right into our locker room, and we have a kitchen, we have a lounge, we have all that. We have really anything you could really want. We all have it, and it's we're treated like pros here, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So tell us what the locker room looks like. How is that set up?
So if you're walking like through like the player entrance, you'll walk left. You have like your dry stall area where you'll put like your jock on or whatever, and then you'll walk through like our bathroom and stuff like that, like our showers. And you'll walk through like the hallway through there, and then you'll be in our gym. And our gym's like it's pretty good size. Like most teams don't have like their own gym, like as like right on the rink. So like our gym, we have all like you could ever really need in a gym. And then on the like next side of the gym's like our actual like locker room, like with our stalls and stuff. And our locker room's pretty legit. It's pretty nice. And on the other side of our locker room, we have like our kitchen, like our coach's office, and our equipment room, and our equipment manager's office, and our athletic therapist office. Like we basically have it all. And then on the other side of that, we have our media room, I guess you would call it, where we all kind of just go chill out when we don't have like anything to do. So
Sweet, man. Um,
yeah,
so for the gear, um, what do you guys get? Do you guys get Bauer, CCM?
we get whatever you really want. They will have like all like the guys will like send in like their reps. So you have like the Bauer rep, the CCM rep, the True rep, Warrior rep, and you kind of get to pick and choose what you want to do. So like for me personally, I'm a CCM guy. So I did all my stuff at the draft. But like after training camp, like after they have like the actual team pick, they'll send in like all the reps and stuff, and all the guys on the team will go pick like out like their custom stuff, their custom sticks and skates and whatever you really need. And you're either a Bauer guy or a CCM guy usually. But
Like I know there might be like a CCM thing. I see a lot of the teams doing CCM. Is that like you have to wear a CCM bucket and CCM gloves?
yeah, because like the league's like technically sponsored by CCM, just like the USHL is like Bauer. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's our helmet, like everything CCM. Besides like if you want like Bauer skates or Bauer stick, everything else is CCM though.
Yeah.
Um, they're really big on that. Like I had Bauer elbow pads in the before training camp, and like as soon as I got there, they gave me CCM ones. So
Nice.
yeah,
Sweet. How did your like you guys had media day and stuff where they took pics of you? How'd that go?
yeah. It was honestly really funny because like we had like media day, like we all got like dressed up, and like our coach told us we were doing like a car wash, so nobody was expecting it. But like all of us were kind of like in the same room, like watching each other like take pictures and stuff, and all of us were just dying laughing. It was honestly just it was pretty funny. And then when we got on the ice, it was just like us on the ice and like the photographer, and he's like telling us to like sell it like it was the Mem Cup. So it was pretty funny, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's cool to see like the media days are like picking up and shit.
yeah.
All right, so tell us about the uh the whole draft experience.
The draft was it was so sick. It's like the NHL draft, honestly. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into because I didn't know it was like that big of a deal. But for like the Quebec people, like they're like the actual fans that'll just come to the draft and watch. But like for me, I wasn't telling anyone that I was going to the Q besides St. John. They were the only team I talked to. So I had to sit in my car with my family until like this beginning of the second round. So no like team, like no teams or like GMs would see me and try to like trade up or whatever. So we had to wait until like the second round, and then the GM texted us, told us to come in, and I sat down and we were trying to find like the Sea Dogs table or whatever, and I sat down and I see like Patrick Waugh, the Remparts like GM or whatever, and he sees me, like walks eyes with me, and he gets up and starts like walking around looking for a trade because he like they reached out a couple times, but luckily St. John was up next for the pick, so St. John they like selected me and said Egan Beveridge or whatever, and it was honestly just really surreal, you know what I mean? Because it was just like it felt like everyone in the room was just watching me. Which I mean they were, I guess, but it's just like it's a weird feeling to have. And then throwing on the jersey for the first time and the hat and taking the pictures and stuff. It was really cool. It felt really very pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that's unreal. That's gonna be a clip right there.
Yeah.
That's unreal. And
It
so
was
you got like the pictures and like the videos and stuff.
Yeah. So like for the second round, they didn't put everyone on the stage because it would take too long. So like
Yeah,
I just went up to the table and took a picture with like their GM and stuff. But
yeah,
like that, like the first round, like you'll get like the NHL like take a picture with the entire organization.
yeah.
But John didn't have a first round pick, so I went I think 30th overall.
That's
I don't
crazy.
know, but it was so cool.
Like you're one of those guys that are like in the top 30, you know?
Yeah, it was so cool. Like I walked into the rink because I had to go to the bathroom. I like looked in, there was like fog machines going off everywhere, and I was like, holy shit, like what is this? It was crazy. And there's people speaking French all around you, and I don't speak a word of French. So it
Oh
was
yeah.
pretty fun.
That
But
I've been around that at prep school. It's like you're in a vortex. You have no clue what they're saying, you know?
yeah.
I guess you gotta know the swears though, you know?
I know, yeah, I'm learning a couple of them. I'm learning some Czech swears and Latvian, so definitely expanding my language.
Yeah. You gotta look out for Habanak. It's
Yeah,
just
you hear
fuck.
that? It's so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So
They're funny. The funniest kid that I know, like the language barrier is kind of hard, you know, French
yeah,
and American. And this kid's broke the language barrier like with his broken English. and he's still the funniest kid today that I know, even in like an American person. You know,
Yeah.
makes any sense. I couldn't imagine him, in his own language, how funny he would be.
Yeah, no, we have one of those kids like on our team. He's in 06. His name's like Chad Bellamar. And he's like the funniest kid ever, but his English is so bad. Like he was texting the other day and I just couldn't understand him like whatsoever. And like we'll be playing like Fort or whatever, and he'll be like saying stuff, and I just don't know what he's saying. It's so funny. But like yesterday we had like a barbecue like with a season ticket holders, and he like we're like all like signing autographs and stuff, and this kid goes out and like signs my like license plate with his like it was like with his like it was so funny. Like he just went out of like nowhere and just went up and just signed my license plate and walked off like it was no big deal. Like he's just like a little French kid that's hilarious. It's so funny.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'll ask you one more question here. So tell us about your first two goals and the sequence of them.
Yeah. Yeah, my first goal was in Bathurst. It was third period. And I wasn't playing my best game. Obviously my first period I was pretty nervous. My first like actual Q game. But yeah, my first goal, we just got scored on like the shift before, and I got put on the ice, and we ran the play like we practiced. I don't even know, so many times in practice, and we ran the play, and it worked out like perfectly. It went right to my tape, and then I dropped it back to Chad, and Chad threw it across to Danny, and Danny meant to shoot the puck, but it came off like really bad and somehow landed like right on my tape, and I put it short side or whatever. It didn't really wasn't anything like too crazy, but like I was just ecstatic to score. You know what I mean? Like I was so happy, and I like saw like some like random little kid. I didn't know what to do, so I just banged the glass at him because I just didn't know what to do. But I was so excited about it. And then my second goal I scored, I think last weekend it was. Um, Worst shot I think I've ever taken. Like worst shot I've ever taken. Like I got the puck in like the slot, and I was trying to go top left, and I went 5-hole, and it was a complete muff too. Like the goalie came off to me after in between periods. He's like, "That's the first time I think I've ever seen you shoot low." And I was like, "I was trying to go high," so it was pretty. Because if the goalie doesn't know if I don't know where the puck's going, the goalie doesn't either. So it's pretty funny. But
Yeah. What was your celly on the second one?
I didn't know what to do. I had no idea I scored. I just like looked around a little bit, and I like threw my hands up in the air, and I went like that to like get the fans going. But I was just so just
Yeah, dude. Get some better cellies here. Let's get some bone and arrow, little
that's what I was
Johnny
doing too.
Manziel.
I know. I was watching the Manziel documentary like last night. I was like, next time I score, I'm still gonna go the money Manziel. But,
It's so easy, and it doesn't look like too much. It's just literally this. So
like if
sick.
you like a fan go like that, like they'll love it. So
Yeah. Do that. Make that the Egan Beveridge celly instead of
yeah,
the.
seriously.
We go. So we got like a minute left, but um, so you guys can't fight and shit. But have you seen that video where I think it's in the queue. So they're having like a little tussle, and the kid rips off the chain, and
Yeah,
then
that was I
right
saw
hook.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like obviously like we're not allowed to like drop him anymore, but like there's been numerous like fights. It's not even like you're not fighting anymore. It's just a wrestling match.
yeah,
Like in my second game, I got like my helmet ripped off, and like I fought some kid who was like 6'1", like 200. I'm 5'8", 170. So I got my ass kicked, but like they're still fighting. Like it's just obviously like the Q looks like a soft league because we're not allowed to fight, but like there's people like it's just wrestling matches now. It's not fighting, it's just wrestling matches, and people are still dropping gloves. Like the other night, some kid dropped the gloves and they went at it, and it's a game suspension. So it's people still fight, but
definitely need it in the game still. So
100%.
yeah. Well, thank you, Egan. It was a pleasure to meet you and to have you on here.
All right, thank you for having me.
All right, man. Hey, I'm gonna end it right here. Oh shit. Um, hey, can I give you a call instead?